The Senate Finance and Appropriations Committee will come to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We only have a few bills today, and I would like to start with, if she's here, Senator Kiggins. Good. You have a bill that's before us only because the rules require it, and it has nothing to do with the bill itself. But if you'd like to describe it briefly, that'd be helpful.
That's correct, Madam Chair. And Madam Chair, members of the committee, this is Senate Bill 212, which establishes a Navy license plate, which the state of Virginia does not currently have. And the reason it's in finance, as the chair, Ms. Chair stated, was that because it creates a fund that helps benefit the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. So of the $25 fee, 15 of those dollars will go to benefit Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. And because of that kind of fiscal change, I'm here in Finance Committee.
Are there any questions for the senator? Does anyone wish to speak to this bill? Actually, it was in a previous committee. I'm sorry, so we won't take it. Yes.
Move to report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Senator Kiggins' bill be reported. All in favor, please vote aye. Opposed, nay.
Ayes 15, no 0.
Ayes 15, noes 0. The bill is reported. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next, we will do 3 bills that are related to the local sales and use tax to support schools. First, we will hear Senate Bill 298. Senator Deeds.
Thank you, ma'am. This is a bill that simply allows Charlottesville to impose the additional 1 cent for sales tax for schools. I understand there's a bigger bill, and if the bigger bill is going to pass the General Assembly, I want this to be part of that. But assuming that they're separate, I would prefer to keep these bills separate for the time being. Charlottesville is actually a place, unlike some of the localities that we've allowed to raise sales tax for schools. It's a place that has some retail sales, so they'll be able to raise some money. They've got a very specific plan for school improvements, and there are, it's my understanding, they're city council members, they're also school board members that are online that are ready to testify if the committee needs them.
Okay. Senator Norman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I had a brief discussion with you before we convened, and I believe Senator McClellan has a statewide bill, and because of the unpredictability and the vagaries of the legislative process, I think it would be prudent that we consider passing all of these bills out. But when we get to the House to chat with our friends over there about rolling them into Senator McClellan's bill, I mean, we've been down this route of piecemealing things before, and it just gets to be aggravating.
Madam Chair.
Senator Deeds.
I agree 1,000% with Senator Norman. My sense is this ought to be, I've agreed with Senator Hanger in the past when he said this ought to be this is a statewide problem. We ought to have a statewide solution, and I would agree with that. But I don't know what's going to pass, and I would prefer to keep this bill separate until we have a better idea of what's going to pass in the House.
Okay, I believe we're all in agreement on that. Yes, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Senator Deeds indicated, I have consistently voted against this, and where I'm at this moment is I believe that we really need to pass it statewide, but not in the nature of Senator McClellan's. I think what we need to do, and probably next year, after we've done the tax study that you've anticipated, is do it statewide, but run it through the composite index. If we do it just allowing localities to elect to do it, it's going to increase the disparities, because if you got all the retail shopping in your locality, you're coming out good. If you don't have a Walmart, you got the short end of the stick. So at any rate, I certainly would support a broad initiative, not this year, but maybe next year.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Yeah, we send enough money.
I was say,
Madam Chair,
Senator Hanger,
I just want to retort, because somebody said something
but
down
he
there.
wasn't recognized.
That I shop at Potomac Mills also, and Tyson's Corner.
I can't afford to.
Yeah, but then,
Okay, no, you're not recognized.
Madam Chair,
I heard a voice, but I.
Peterson.
Oh, Senator Peterson.
and I heard the magic words composite index. It sort of brought me out of my slumber up here. Just looking at the deeds bill, on where it has the italicized language and it strikes the counties, and it just says on line 341, any locality that is a qualifying locality. And then it talks about the sales tax. What is a qualifying locality?
Connor?
Madam Chair, I think it's a locality that we've approved for local referenda. Is that correct? It relates to another section of the bill.
Oh, I see. It's on line 147. Okay. Oh, so that doesn't do anything for me. Okay, thanks.
Okay. These bills have not had public comment, so is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of Senate Bill 298?
Anyone in the Zoom room who would like to speak to this bill, please raise your hand electronically now.
Yes.
Good morning. Jay Deck with the Virginia Education Association, and we do support the bill. Thanks, Senator Deeds.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jeremy Bennett with the Virginia Association of Counties. Even though City of Charlottesville is not a county, we do support this concept and certainly support the statewide bill.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the Zoom room?
Lisa Torres, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
And testimony will be limited to 1 minute.
Ms. Torres, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Well, Lisa Torres, I think, is the chair of the school board, and she would be in favor of the legislation.
Okay. Good. I don't think the legislation is in any trouble that I can.
Madam Chair, we're having some technical difficulties. We're going to get IT into the room.
Okay. Is there a motion on Senate Bill 298?
Move to report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Senate Bill 298 be reported. Please record your vote.
Ayes 14, noes 2.
Ayes 14, noes 2. The bill's reported. Next is Senator Norman's Senate Bill 37.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Consistent with the previous discussion, my bill replicates what Senator Deed's bill has done. It only pertains to Isle of Wight. I do support the statewide mandate on it, but I'd respectfully request that this bill be reported, and I'm amenable to rolling it into the statewide bill if it appears it's going to be successful.
It's been moved and seconded the bill be reported. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on this bill? Yes, sir.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Don Robertson, Assistant County Administrator for Isle of Wight County. Thank Senator Norman for his support, Senator Lucas for her support of this bill. We are in support, obviously, of this bill and also in support of Senator McClellan's bill. I would just note All due respect to Senator Hanger's comments earlier about waiting a year. Last year, Isle of Wight County built the school that we're moving forward on for $26 million. We have just recently closed on the construction of that building at $36 million, so waiting a year costs us $10 million. Had we had this legislation in place a year ago, we could have gone to referendum in November, had our citizens vote on this, make a decision as to how they would want to proceed, and we would be moving forward. Today, when I leave this meeting, I've got to get back because we are meeting with bond counsel because we're going to be borrowing the money to move forward on any elementary school. And we have yet another elementary school that we're going to be building within the next 5 years. So there's an urgent need for this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those in the Zoom room that would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hand electronically now.
Yes.
Good morning again. Jeremy Bennett, Virginia Association of Counties. Echo Deputy Administrator Robertson's comments. Isle of Wight has done their homework on this proposal, and we certainly support their ability to move forward with it, as well as the statewide bill.
Madam Chair, Jay Deck with the Virginia Education Association, and we too support the bill.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the Zoom room?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. I believe we have a motion to.
Move to report, ma'am.
Been moved and seconded to report Senate Bill 37. All in favor, please record your vote aye. Opposed, nay.
Ayes 14, noes 2.
Ayes 14, noes 2. The bill's reported. Next is Senate Bill 472. Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 472 would basically eliminate the need for everyone to come and do what Charlottesville and Isle of Wight just did and get a supermajority vote because it's special legislation by expanding the ability to raise the sales tax to fund school construction and renovation statewide. The locality would still have to do the referendum and pass an ordinance before they are able to adopt the sales tax. It doesn't change anything other than eliminating the list of about a handful of localities that can do it now and extend that authorization statewide. I want to put this in a bigger context, though. This is one of the recommendations of the Commission on School Construction and Modernization, which met over the past year to really scope the problem statewide of schools needing renovation or localities needing help from the state to fund school construction and renovation. I want to give you a little bit of data that we found. This is a problem that is statewide. 41% of school divisions are at or above enrollment capacity. 29% are nearing capacity.
See, I don't disagree.
Over 50% of school buildings are more than 50 years
Sometimes
old.
you can be too cute.
Various capital improvement plan projects that have been identified as of when we received that data was $9.8 billion. That's a B. Most common projects were renovation, HVAC, repair and replacement, parking lot maintenance, and ground maintenance. State financial support for school facility capital and debt service costs is limited to the loan programs through the lottery fund. And capital costs, which in fiscal year 2020, school divisions reported $1.105 billion in school facility capital costs, $476.1 million in debt service costs, and $7.158 billion in outstanding debt on school facilities. The commission adopted about 7 different recommendations because we wanted to have multiple tools in the toolbox. For some localities, the sales tax will be the solution. This gives them the ability to do that. In other localities where the sales tax is not the solution, we've got 6 more options for the General Assembly to consider. And I echo the desires of Senator Norment and Senator Dees that all 3 bills go forward. There is a House version of this bill. So if the House passes the House version, then we'll know that it's safe to roll them all together. But until we get that signal, I think it's prudent to have 3 different options.
Thank you, Senator McClellan. Are there any other comments?
Madam Chair,
Senator Peterson?
and just a couple questions for Senator McClellan. First of all, just to put on the record, this money would go back to the point of sale. In other words, if a locality raised this tax, it would stay within the jurisdiction.
That's correct. And would be only able to be used for school construction and renovation projects.
And then second question, and I assume it's still subject to the referendum requirement?
That's correct.
Okay. Just a brief comment, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Peterson?
I think if you're in this business long enough, everything comes around twice. And so this was actually the issue when I ran in 2001, Woodson High School and the renovation and everything of that nature. So I've always supported this idea, being able to keep local dollars home, particularly for school construction. So I think this is a good idea.
Senator Marsden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think my first question is probably to Ms. Keyes. April, the $500 million that the governor has in the budget for school construction, does that require a match from localities?
Madam Chair, I would ask Tyler Williams to respond in detail for you.
Madam Chair, Senator Marsden, it does not require a local match.
Okay. I think going forward, as we look at other means of providing state assistance, that, matching requirements may become part of the game, and making sure that we, include that these current revenues that they're getting can be used as part of that match would be something to consider in the, going forward. But that's something we'll have to unwind in another session. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If I can speak to that. Actually, one of the other, first of all, I would note that the amount in the proposed budget is clearly not enough.
Correct.
But that one of the options that will be coming forward is the creation of a school construction and renovation fund that could be used for grants and would require some matching requirements. There are a number of proposals that make it clear that the locality has to have some skin in the game. And again, this sales tax will allow them to meet that requirement.
Okay, is there anyone here in the room who would like to speak to this bill?
If there's anyone in the Zoom room who would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hand electronically now.
Yes.
Madam Chair, Jeremy Bennett, again with Virginia Association of Counties. As the senator stated, the magnitude of this problem across the Commonwealth, I think, demands both state and local solutions. This is one more tool in the toolbox of local government to address what is a priority issue for our members, and they've asked us to support this bill fully. And I would just further state to Senator Peterson's comments, it is a local option. It does require the members of the community to support this concept. We really support this measure and urge the committee to support it as well. We have support from local government associations as well as our friends and partners in the K-12 community. Tom Smith from the Virginia Association of School Superintendents, who couldn't be here today, asked me to pass along that VAS is also in favor of this. And we thank you for your time and urge the committee to support it.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Josette Bulova, and I'm with the Virginia Municipal League. I'd like to thank the patron for all of our hard work on the commission and for introducing this. I'd like to echo the sentiments made by Jeremy Bennett with VACO. I'd also like to add that expanding the authority of local governments to raise dedicated funds with the consent from their communities for school renovations would go a long way towards addressing this crucial need and issue. There's no additional cost to the state to empower local governments to have this authority. This authority has already been granted to 9 other communities, with 3 more asking for this authority that we saw today. And this concept also unanimously passed as a recommendation from the Commission on School Modernization. So thank you, Madam Chair, and I urge the committee to vote yes on this bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is J.T. Kessler. I'm here on behalf of the Virginia School Boards Association. Senator McClellan, thank you for bringing this bill. Senator Deeds, Senator Norman, thank you. We support all these bills, would like the statewide option, and hope the committee will report this favorably today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Laura Bateman, and I'm here today on behalf of the 16 member cities of the Virginia First Cities Coalition, who thanks Senator McClellan and all the patrons who are very supportive of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, members. Thank you for taking the time to take this bill up. It's very important to our school division, which is Newport News Public Schools. My name is Pat Finner, and I'm representing Newport News. It's in our legislative packet to support this bill, and it's also in the City of Newport News's package to support this legislative bill, and we appreciate your time and consideration on this. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Jay Deck with the Virginia Education Association, and we do support all three bills. We think that this is a statewide problem and it needs a statewide fix. And there's so many schools in the state just crumbling, and it's kind of sad to see it. So we ask that you do support this bill. Thank you.
Again, Don Robertson, Isle of Wight County. Just want to reiterate our support of this bill as well.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the Zoom room?
Yes, Madam Chair. Eldon James, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Eldon James. I'm speaking on behalf of Roanoke County. Also like to thank Senator McClellan for carrying this bill. This bill offers an opportunity for the county to put this option before the voters, especially when considering the urgent need to replace the CTE school that was constructed in 1962 and is woefully out of date and undersized. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lisa Torres, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Madam Chair and committee members, thank you very much. My name is Lisa Torres. I'm here on behalf of Charlottesville City Schools. Again, want to thank Senator McClellan and the commission, the work that you've done for that, and the bill also presented by Senator Deeds. I'm here to speak in support of all of those and appreciate the options for funding. Our community does prioritize schools, but we recognize the city fiscal limitations and other needs within the community. So having these as options to help us move forward on a reconfiguration of our middle school, which was built in 1966, is very important. And I appreciate the consideration from all members today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Wodika, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Chris Wadika with the Commonwealth Institute. We support this bill as well. We want to thank Senator McClellan for bringing it forward. And as stated by others, we're very supportive of the statewide local option to provide localities with one additional tool in their toolkit to address school construction and renovation needs. And we ask that you report the bill.
Thank you.
Sherry Neal, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Sherry Neal, the Intergovernmental Affairs Manager for the City of Portsmouth. We thank Senator McClellan and the Commission for their work on this bill, and we are highly supportive of it, and we ask that you also support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eddie Martin, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Teddy Martin. I'm the president of the Virginia School Boards Association and a proud member of the Henry County School Board. VSBA strongly supports Senate Bill 472. We offer our thanks to Senator McClellan for bringing this legislation forward. I won't belabor points that have been made by people that are great before me, but I will say this is a matter near and dear to me. I became a school board member and ran because of trash cans lining the hallways of my local high school that my siblings attend, and making sure that we could fund these renovations so that no child, not my siblings, no one has this issue. And I very much supportive of a statewide option so that, like I said, no child would have that issue. So again, I encourage the committee to support the bill and thank the committee for its consideration of this important legislation.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there's no more in the Zoom room in favor of the bill at this time. I would ask those in the Zoom room, if you would like to speak in opposition to this bill, please raise your hand now. There is no one in the Zoom room that would like to speak in opposition, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on the bill?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Senate Bill 472 be reported. Please record your vote.
Ayes 14, noes 2.
Ayes 14, noes 2. The bill is reported. We're now going to change topic, and the next bill will be Senator Edwards' bill, Senate Bill 142.
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
Yes.
Senate Bill 142 is asked for in part by the City of Roanoke and others, I expect as well, having to do with delinquent tax properties. The tax has not been paid on property, and traditionally the property may be conveyed to this locality. This changes it a little bit. It authorizes the locality to have a special commissioner appointed in lieu of a public auction and convey it to a land bank entity. And the real estate typically would contain delinquent derelict buildings and the like, and with delinquent land, with delinquent taxes. The three factors to be considered for doing this. First of all, each parcel has delinquent real estate taxes and so forth. In the second category, the land must be assessed at a value of $75,000 or less, and the taxes and liens would exceed 50% of the assessed value of the parcel, and such taxes alone exceed 25% of the assessed value. This is a novel idea, and Laura Bateman, representing the City of Roanoke, will explain it further. And in addition, Angela Penn of Total Action for Progress is on the Zoom line, I believe, and she'd like to say something as well. So I'd like to just introduce you to Laura Bateman.
Ms. Bateman.
Thank you, Senator Laura Bateman, here on behalf of the City of Roanoke. And I know in the waiting room, we have somebody from the Attorney's Office available for questions, as well as folks from land banks around the state. This bill comes out of the City of Roanoke's legislative program, and it is going to be helpful to them to get delinquent property back into productive reuse, and especially for land banks that are doing some amazing work in the provision of affordable housing and other laudable goals. So if there are questions, I do know there are folks in the waiting room that would like to speak to it.
Okay, thank you. For the people in the waiting room, there's 1 minute, please.
For those in the Zoom room that would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hand electronically now. Angela Penn, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Senate and Appropriations Committee. Thank you, Senator Edwards, for the introduction and support of the bill. My name is Angela Penn. I work at Total Action for Progress, and we serve as the land bank for the City of Roanoke. Our mission is to create vibrant communities through the development or the reuse of delinquent and vacant properties. This amendment would enable the city to more efficiently transfer land that has gone through court process to the land bank. Land banks are valuable and beneficial to the community as we return vacant, abandoned, and tax delinquent properties to productive use while helping to facilitate neighborhood revitalization and affordable housing. We thank you for the opportunity and ask for your support of this bill.
Laura Lafayette, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Laura Lafayette speaking today as the immediate past chair of the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust. We serve as the land bank for the city of Richmond and the counties of Henrico and Chesterfield. This bill will enable many land banks across the Commonwealth that are really just getting started and getting their legs under them to more easily and more economically receive properties into the land bank, and working in partnership with local governments, envision how these parcels that are really right now a drain on the community can be repurposed, put back into productive use, back into income producing use, and all to the community. So I thank Senator Edwards and the other co-patrons for this, bill, and I urge that you give it your support. Thank you.
Brett Robertson, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
It's not unmuting.
Go ahead with your testimony, sir.
Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go with your testimony.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Brent Robertson, Assistant City Manager for Community Development at the City of Roanoke. We are very much in support of the amendment, and basically, as Senator Edwards indicated, we're looking for the change, quite frankly, just where the commissioner now conveys property directly to the land bank as opposed to having the city be the intermediary. Why for that a little bit? The Land Bank Entities Act in 2016, when it was enacted, basically was looking to allow localities to create and appoint land banks to acquire blighted property and then nurture that back into productive property. Productive property is more than tax revenue only. It is affordable housing. It is improved neighborhoods. It is greater equity. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Julia McNally, please unmute and begin your testimony now.
Good morning, I'm Julia McNally, Program Director for the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, which, as Laura Lafayette mentioned, is the regional land bank that serves Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield County. And the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust has the primary goal of creating and supporting affordable housing development. Currently, we have more than 20 units in our pipeline, which have been distributed to various nonprofits in our region. Land banks are new tools for Virginia, but they are established tools to deal with vacant and blighted property. And as we know, vacant properties pose a number of threats to neighborhood stability, safety, and negatively affect property value. So this bill would help supplement the enabling legislation that was established in 2017. And it comes from collaboration with existing land banks in Virginia that are trying to make this program work and have identified these needs as support to the work that they do, improving property condition and value for their localities. So we'd love to thank Senator Edwards and co-patrons for their work on this bill. We support this bill as a way to improve the strength and efficiency of Virginia's land banks with the ultimate goal of having a positive outcome on neighborhood property values and stability in the localities where land banks exist. Thanks, everyone.
If there are any in the Zoom room who would like to speak in opposition to this bill, please raise your hand electronically now. Madam Chair, at this time, there are no one who would like to speak in opposition.
Okay, is there a motion on the bill? It's been moved and seconded that Senate Bill 142 be reported. All in favor, record your vote. Opposed as well.
Ayes 16, no 0.
Ayes 16, no 0. The bill is reported. Next up are two bills that I've put in, and they are required, basically, of the chairman to do. The first is Senate Bill 93, and I would ask Connor to briefly describe it.
Madam Chair, the amendment is actually for the other bill, the capital outlay plan.
I'm sorry.
Tyler,
Tyler, I'm sorry.
The amendment is actually for the,
Yes, Madam Chair, Senate Bill 93 is the bonds for public institutions of higher learning. It has an emergency clause. This is for the 9C bonds for two revenue-producing capital projects, one at James Madison University and one at Virginia Tech. They're authorized in the introduced budget, and that is the presentation of that bill.
Are there questions on this bill? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to be reported, but let me find out if anyone would like to speak to the bill.
If there are those in the Zoom room who would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hands electronically now. There are none at this time, Madam Chair. If you would like to speak in opposition of this bill in the Zoom room, please raise your hand electronically now. There are none who wish to speak at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that Senate Bill 93 be reported. Please record your vote.
I-16, no, 0.
I-16, no, 0. The bill is reported. Next is Senate Bill 115, which is the capital outlay plan.
Yes, Senator Howe, Senate Bill 115 just establishes the 6-year capital outlay improvement plan. It includes 54 projects that have been authorized for, most have been authorized for planning or included for planning in the governor's proposed budget or represent future commitments. And Madam Chair, there are 2 amendments that Connor will report.
Madam Chair, the line amendments would be, on line 62, there's a stray 1 that appeared in the draft, so the amendment would be to replace $100 million in $1 with $100 million. And then the second amendment on line 103, there was Senator Peterson. So the second amendment on line 103 would be to remove a project listed there for the CTE Center in Norfolk, and that's at the request of the agency, the community college system.
Okay.
Could the staff repeat that first edit?
Madam Chair, Senator Peterson, so it's on line 62.
62.
And the number 100 million and 1 should be just $100 million.
So you're taking out that dollar.
That's correct.
Nothing is too small for this
With
committee.
fiscal conservatism is very important. So.
Would anybody like to comment on this bill in the public?
For those in the Zoom room who would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hand electronically now.
Have we done the amendments? Okay, we need a motion on the amendments. The amendments have been moved in a block. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, then is there a motion to, thank you, as amended? The moved and seconded the bill as amended be reported. All in favor, record your vote aye. Opposed, no.
Ayes 15, no, 0.
Somebody hit Louise's. Okay.
Her vote will be noted, Madam Chair.
Okay.
So it's I-16, no, 0.
I-16, no, 0. The bill is reported. Next up is Senate Bill 77, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This bill was brought to my attention by Gloucester County. I don't think it's momentous. What it provides is that with a majority vote of the county's Board of Supervisors, that they can conduct a general assessment of real estate every 3 years. Currently, it is under 4 years. The bill does not impact the power of any city or county to provide for annual or biannual assessments and equalization. And the reason for this is, like many localities, the price of real estate has gone up dramatically, and they would like at least the option to bring it into line with their tax revenues.
Are there any questions for Senator Norman? Would anyone like in the room like to comment on this bill?
For those in the Zoom room who would like to speak in favor of this bill, please raise your hand electronically now. Madam Chair, this
Okay.
gentleman would like to speak in favor of this bill electronically.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the bill? It's been moved and seconded that Senate Bill 77 be reported. Please record your vote.
Ayes 16, no zero.
Ayes 16, no zero, the bill's reported. Our final bill today is Senator Ruff's bill, Senate Bill 25.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This bill deals with the taxes on tobacco products. As more and more counties and regions have established separate taxes on tobacco, it has become very complicated for retailers, particularly those in multiple locations, to conform to the various regulations within the timeframes involved. When tax rates change, currently stores must restamp each pack either at that location or send the inventory back to a central location to restamp. This takes time and uses resources. This bill, what this bill does is allow a business to inventory all product on the effective date of the tax increase, then pay the tax as sold without the process of restamping. All taxes are paid without having to handle every pack individually. Hope it will be the pleasure to approve.
Thank you, Senator Ruff. Is there anyone who would like to comment on this bill?
If there are any in the Zoom room who would like to speak electronically in favor of this bill, please raise your hand now. If there are any who would like to speak in opposition to this bill in the Zoom room, please raise your hand electronically now. Madam Chair, there are none who would like to speak in the Zoom room at this time.
I did hear a motion to report. It's been moved, and is there a second? Second. And seconded that Senate Bill 25 be reported. Please record your vote.
Ayes 16, no zero.
Ayes 16, no zero. The bill's reported. We have now completed our agenda, and I do want to remind committee members that we have a committee meeting at 4 o'clock on Thursday in this room to hear from non-committee members on their budget amendments. And there being no further business to come before us, the committee is adjourned.
Very efficient. That's awesome.